All right, so let's move on to the Eastern Conference.
Right on.
Let's talk about the Tampa Bay Lightning versus, doesn't matter who they versus, because guess what? They're the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Exactly.
Poor Igor Shesterkin. Poor Igor Shesterkin lets in 1 goal 5-hole. Out of like 2,500 shots in the playoffs, lets in 1 goal 5-hole, and everybody's like, oh, he's not looking like himself. He's looking fatigued. He's looking this. He's looking that.
Well, that was the narrative on Hockey Night in Canada last night for sure.
Oh, was it?
Oh, yeah.
I don't tend to watch it between periods.
He faced a bunch of shots in Game 3.
Yeah.
And they got outshot last night, not by a huge margin.
I just saw it on Twitter a bunch.
Yeah, not by a huge margin, but yeah. I mean, I don't know enough about goaltending. All I know is he looks beatable now, you know? He's letting out some really, really juicy rebounds.
Oh, but he's been letting out the juicy rebounds all year and all playoffs.
Right.
Yeah.
But, you know, but during the regular season, he was letting out those rebounds and he was able to be in position to stop them. I'm not sure he is now. Like Maroon's goal was on a big rebound that kind of, you know, it was a bit of a slap backhand sort of thing.
Yeah.
That you wouldn't think he would let in, you know, that sort of thing. So I don't know. I mean, I think the whole narrative of this series is that it's playing out the way it's supposed to be playing out or should have played out from the beginning. And that is that Tampa Bay is by far the superior team.
Okay.
And they're starting to show it.
Rebound attempts against. So a goalie lets out a rebound and somebody tries to take a shot on that rebound. Second place in the entire playoffs for the most is Mike Smith with 58.
Right.
First place is Igor Shesterkin. Any guess what the number is?
Is it over 100? Oh, wow.
112.
I was going to, wait a second. God damn. I was going to say 107. Wait a minute. Give me a second.
We've got a Diet Coke emergency here. Yeah. 112 rebound
I was actually going to say,
against.
no, I was going to say 108, I think. That was what I was going to say. I sure hope this doesn't explode when I open it.
Oh, okay.
No, we're good.
You had the palm cover on that one. Oh, that's just at 5 versus 5.
Oh.
I didn't even realize that. That's just at 5 versus 5.
5 on 5.
All strengths?
3,000.
Rebound. Okay, 128.
Oh, okay.
And Mike Smith goes up to 76.
So he's 50 ahead, eh?
And Andrei Vasilevsky goes up to 59. Yeah, he's no longer double Mike Smith. Like 116 would be double Mike Smith.
Right.
And he was at 112. So just, come on, man. Like, by the time we're finished this podcast, he'll have more rebound. Yeah. You know? Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I just feel like that the Tampa Bay Lightning, maybe it was just a matter of shaking off that rust. And once they did, but what I feel like the Tampa Bay Lightning are doing right now is they're in all business mode.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that all business mode means, okay, we go out, we forecheck like crazy, we pursue the puck, we cause a couple of mistakes, we let some of the best players in the world get us a couple of goals.
Yeah.
And then we give them
nothing.
Yeah. We give them nothing.
Probably the most surprised I've been in this entire playoffs. Okay, that's little exaggeration, but one of the more surprising things in this entire playoffs was when Panarin scored last night with 3 minutes left in the game.
Oh yeah.
I didn't think that he was ever going to score again. Like, and not just like, I'm not trying to knock Panarin, but I'm just saying that, like, again, like you said,
it was on the power play with a.
It was on the power play with a 6-on-4.
6-on-4. Yeah.
No, I'm not. Yeah. But it just didn't seem like they were ever going to get any kind of traction.
Right.
You know, anyways, obviously at that point, there's 3 minutes left in the game to make up 2 more goals in 3 minutes and then win in overtime would have been a Herculean effort.
Palat has picked it up. You know,
Palat has very much picked it up.
I don't think the Tampa Bay Lightning care that Alex Killorn has no goals or that Anthony Cirelli hasn't scored. And stuff like that. I don't think they care one bit about that.
Philip Deneau last year, though, right? Like, it's just kind of like Philip Deneau had like 1 point in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But guess what? He was also the most important forward on the team.
Yeah.
He's sitting there eating his pizza.
Yeah.
Which I'm convinced that he got from Enrico's.
Oh, yeah?
I'm convinced. Down the street at Kingston Road in Birchmount.
How would he have done that?
Okay. Here's the theory.
Let's not go too long.
Okay,
yeah.
Just a tight 10.
So he'd phone it in before the game. Some guy'd fly it there. What?
No, they're in Toronto. And
Toronto.
they say...
We always say Toronto. We don't say Toronto on this podcast.
Yeah, you're from Sudbury, so you don't say Toronto. I say Toronto because I'm from Toronto. So you're the one that told me not to go along. So they go to Toronto to win the playoff series, and they say, "Oh, hey, Tyler Toffoli, you're from Toronto. Where do you want to get
Scarborough.
pizza?"
You're from Scarborough,
and he's from Scarborough and went to Birchmount. And it looks like Enrico's pizza that they were eating.
Oh, really?
And
Okay.
Enrico's is like the staple of Birchmount.
Okay, wow, you gave that a lot of thought.
I was eating Enrico's watching it, and I was like,
you really drilled down to an area where not a lot of people know anything about.
This is the level of journalism people want to see these days.
It's outstanding pizza. It is outstanding pizza. It's
great
We should
pizza.
go for a piece after this.
Let's go for a pizza after this.
Well, okay.
Oh, you've got a meeting at
Yeah, but we could probably still make it.
We can fit a quick Enrique's in.
Yeah. Okay.
So I agree with you. The Tampa Bay Lightning are just looking completely unbeatable. Andrei Vasilevsky is looking outrageous. He made, right before the Panarin goal, he made an outstanding save.
Right.
He made an outstanding save. And he didn't even put the rebound into a bad place. It wasn't like an outstanding save but anyways, it was out to his right side and pad and glove right there.
Yep.
Made an outstanding save and then got scored on about 10 seconds later. And I'm just like, you know what? Like when your goalie makes an outstanding, not even 10 seconds, about 2 seconds later, right? When your goalie makes a save like that, you got to be cleaning up that rebound. You got to be clearing out that garbage. Like, you know what I mean? Like you don't make two of those in a row.
Yeah.
Right. It's just like nobody's turned around to Usain Bolt after breaking a world record and said, now do it again.
Yeah.
Right?
So what do the New York Rangers, or can they do to turn the tide in this series? Because I feel like you and I and everyone else in the world is just like, oh, wait, well, Tampa's going to win. And I'm not lying. I'm not blowing smoke here. Even after game 2, I still thought they were going to win the series.
Yeah.
After game 1, I thought they were going to win the series. After
I can
game 2, I
attest to
thought
that.
they were going to win the series. I'm not sure that the New York Rangers haven't hit just gotten slapped right in the kisser with reality here. That, you're playing a team that is a special group of guys.
Yeah. I mean, what can the New York Rangers do? Here's the thing. They have gotten here on individual performances.
Yeah.
They have not gotten here on team play.
Right.
Now, the caveat to that is the kid line, but Hedo's hurt. The kid line looks like a great line, and they play like a line, making passes and razzle dazzle. But other than that, it's kind of like when Panarin scores, it's like, look at this great play that Panarin did. Mm-hmm. When, what's his name? The center that's getting all kinds of love right now. They're number one center.
Mika Zibanejad?
When Zibanejad scores, it's like, wow, look at this great play that Zibanejad did. It's not like, look at Zibanejad's line. Look at, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so they've gotten here on individual performances, and they're basically, you're not going to change that now.
Yeah.
And so the only way here's the trouble with individual performances. I'm convinced that we are no longer in a day and age where a shooter can solve a goaltender. What are you going to say to Vasilevsky? Oh, glove side high, he's weak. They showed a stat that Shesterkin's let in more 5-hole goals than any other goalie. Does that mean that he's 5-hole weak? No, absolutely not. So I'm convinced that no single shooter can solve a goalie. And that's why the team play is so important, because in order to solve a goalie these days, it's like tips, it's deflections, it's screens, it's things that are essentially impossible. And so That's the problem with getting here individually, but we've got to see more individually.
Yeah.
We've got to see more from Panarin.
Yeah, I just
We've got
don't
to
know
see
that.
more from.
I think the Tampa Bay Lightning are best when they are like they talk they don't the Tampa Bay Lightning like rarely talk about the other team.
Yeah.
Like it's always them. You know, when they're really good, it's because of what they do, and when they're really bad, it's because they get away from that. And I just feel like Tampa Bay is the kind of team that if they play the way they've played the last 2 games, I'm not sure there's anything that the Rangers will be able to do.
Well, but you can't. What I'm saying is that you can't make the change now.
Yeah.
Right. You can't turn around and say, okay, now we need to, we need a set play that's going to. Yeah, you are who you are.
You
right?
are who you are.
Yeah, and
you are who your record says you are, and you are who you are. Like you can't. Yeah, and I mean, you're not gonna become something you're not at this stage of the game.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and so now Tampa Bay, conversely, is a team that has thrived by essentially harnessing those individual performances and turning them into team performances.
Yep.
Right. And that's who New York eventually needs to be. 2 things. One, New York Rangers have the worst expected goals for percentage of anybody in the playoffs with 39.45%.
Well, I never expect them to score, so that's the thing.
Right. But that's the thing is that they don't. You know what I mean? Anyways.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you're joking, but you're not joking, right? Mm-hmm. But 2, the one thing that I want to say is a goaltending thing. We have seen a really, really interesting last 2 years of goaltending where Carey Price played Andrei Vasilevsky, which was a clear and decisive passing of the torch.
Right.
And now Andrei Vasilevsky is playing Igor Shesterkin. And I don't know that he's playing a lot better than Shesterkin. As a whole, he's had better games and better moments.
Right.
But as a whole, he's also now that he's winning games, he's also getting the much easier workload.
Right.
Than Igor Shesterkin. So
he absolutely,
we're now not to say that this is the passing of the torch, but this is like the precursor of the passing of the torch. And rarely do we see 2 of the best goalies in the world go against each other.
Right.
2 of the undisputed best. Seeing Carey Price and Vasilevsky do it was 2 of the undisputed best.
Right.
And seeing Shesterkin and Vasilevsky do it again is once more 2 of the undisputed best. This is a very important thing, I think.
I mean, we talked to about.
Okay, it's not important. It's hockey. None of it's important. Yeah. Yes.
As Scott Taylor from Winnipeg said one time, he's a legendary sports writer from Winnipeg. He says sports is the only thing that lets us be really passionate about something that doesn't mean anything.
Well, that's what I love about sports, right? Is that news and rumors, you can get into like the rumors. Oh, this guy's going to get fired. That guy's going to get traded. Yeah. It means nothing in the grand scheme of things, right? Like, nothing. You know what that's called in real life? Fake news. And it's possibly the most insidious, disgusting thing in our world today. But in sports, it's so fun. You just get to go with the gossip and the horrificness of it. But anyways.
But I think, we talked about the Western Conference and the Oilers and how they, sort of made hockey fun but on the other side, we're seeing more traditional playoff hockey, right?
Yeah.
And if that narrative stays the same, like the Rangers can't do it because, as you talked about, they're based more on individual performance, right?
Right.
And they're just not built to play that kind of. That style of game. They're just not built that way.
Even their ability to defend a rush.
Right.
You've got defensemen like Adam Fox and Keandre Miller who are excellent skaters.
Jacob Trouba's been outstanding.
Oh, and Jacob Trouba, of course, yes.
He's been there were times when I thought, whoa, boy, what?
Looking like a bad trade.
And a bad contract too.
Yeah.
But he's had like a very, very significant impact on games. And you can say what you want about his hits, but the bottom line is that the NHL has not deemed any one of those an illegal hit.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's staying on the other side of the rule book.
Yeah.
And he's been good. He's been really good.
But the reason why I didn't add him into this category is because he's the exception of what I was about to say.
Right.
But when you look at guys like Adam Fox and Keandre Miller, because of their kind of individualism, they're excellent at defending rushes.
Yeah.
They're excellent at angling somebody off, like what we saw Cale Makar do to Connor McDavid and Bowen Byram do to Connor McDavid as well. They're excellent at angling these guys off and defending those rushes. When it comes to a cycle play, an in-zone cycle play, they sometimes look a little out of place. Now, Jacob Trouba hasn't.
Right.
But that's where, once again, they thrived on individual plays, which is preventing the puck even enter the zone and get into a cycle. But once it does, they're screwed for 3 or 4 shots. They're like, anytime that Tampa establishes a cycle in their zone, you know that they're getting 3 or 4 shots.
Yeah, and you're right. You're right. And you've got to take away the Adam Fox's ability to freelance. And I think they've done that in the last couple of games too.
Yeah.
Because Adam Fox is most dangerous when he's got, some room and some ice, and he can react to the play, and because he sees like everything. Right.
Yeah.
And so I think that they've done a pretty good job of taking that away. And that's a big reason for where they are too. So.
Completely agree with you.
Yep.